Welcome to MULCH, the podcast for flower farmers who love growing beautiful things and want to build a business that lasts. I'm your host, Rebecca Anning-Brown from Silver Grey Foliage in Yorkshire, and every week we'll get real about what it takes to grow flowers for a living, from the planning and the planting to the mindset and the money. Whether you're just starting out or a few seasons in, you'll find honest conversations and practical ideas to help you to root your business in firm soil. Thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really will help more flower farmers to get on and grow. Let's dig in. Hello and welcome back to MULCH. How are you? In the UK, this episode is going out on the Friday before Mother's Day. So I know that many of you are curating and delivering bouquets today and over the next couple of days as well. Mother's Day is busy and the stakes are high, but remember that you've done the prep. You've also done flowers a million times before, and you've got this. When you stop each day, try to remember to take stock of all that you've achieved in the day and to make a note of the things that you're really, really proud of. It's so easy when you're busy to just focus on the challenges, but actually when you start making a list of all the things that you've done, pat yourself on the back. Well done. Now, it's super windy here in Leeds. If you are listening and you can hear what sounds like a ghost noise, it is actually the wind storming through a blocked up old fireplace in the room that I'm in. So I'm sorry about that. There are no ghosts. It's just the wind. It was windy in our field yesterday actually, but not as much as it is here today, kind of slightly lower down. I was actually thankful of the breeze because as we walked, I was super warm and it just helps to cool you down. And that wind in our field that's actually really exposed always helps to just temper some of the heat when the heat finally comes. And I would love the wind to blow away the clouds so that the sun can shine through and we get a little bit more heat because my Icelandic poppies are almost ready to flower in the north of England, but they need a bit more warmth. Let's hope that the wind does that for me. Sometimes after a busy week, I like to make a slightly lighter plan for my work over the coming few days. So today's episode of MULCH is about the small habits that actually keep a flower farm working and going on a day-to-day basis. Professional flower farms aren't usually held together by huge, heroic acts. They're held together by small habits repeated week after week across a whole season. Today I'm going to share 5 habits. Some about preparation, some about organisation, and some about communication with customers. The first 2 habits that I'm going to talk about fall into the bracket of preparation. There's nothing worse than waking up on your next cutting day and realising that you still need to wash your buckets and your snips aren't quite sharp enough. So habit number 1 is get into the rhythm of sharpening and cleaning your cutting tools at the beginning or the end of each week on the same day. Maybe in the evening with a cup of tea or a glass of wine, or maybe in the morning with your morning coffee. I find that tool preparation really is quite mindful, so it's a good thing to do when I'm tired because it helps me to just slow down. I probably spend more time on it than I really need to, but that's harmless and if anything maybe helpful to my kind of mental capacity and slowing down my mental load. Clean, sharp tools mean that I have a nice, clean cut with every stem. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know there, but that really helps with our consistency because when those clean cut stems go into clean, fresh water, it helps with our quality for our customers. It's a tiny habit. Done regularly makes all the difference to the quality of the stems that you cut for whoever your customers are. I'm always honest. So bucket cleaning is a task that I delegate in this household to my husband. It's a weekly or twice weekly task, depending on the time of the season. It's not the most exciting habit to talk to you about, but it affects more than just the water quality that your flowers go into. By this I mean that bucket cleanliness is also noticed by our customers when you deliver your flowers, whether you're working with wholesale or retail customers. Your customers may not notice a clean bucket, but they will notice a dirty one and wonder... They'll wonder whether this will affect their flowers, the flowers that they're buying, the flowers that they're working with. So, especially because we offer such a visual product, those first impressions make a difference to how well your flower farm is perceived. And these small details are part of what makes your flower farm look and feel more professional. Having a rhythm and having a presentation that's constantly fine. Habit number 3 is about labelling and ordering in the propagation space. We've all had that moment. I know I have, and I've had it once this season already, when we've looked at a tray of seedlings and thought, what is that? And when did I plant it? When did I sow it? When did I prick it out? It's infuriating. So the habit actually comes in 2 parts. Firstly, when you're sowing or soil blocking or pricking out, whichever it is, always do things in the same order. So I always do soil, seed, tamper, cover, label, soak in that order. That's my method. It doesn't matter what order is your method, but always do the same thing in the same order so that that label is less likely to be forgotten. And secondly, when you water, move or check your seedlings, make sure that you push the labels back in so that they don't get lost. Simple. But it stops you from wasting time and wondering what things are when they're too small to work it out. Or when you want to make sure that everything goes in the right place in your field and seedling recognition isn't quite your strength yet. It will be. Habit number 4 is make time to reflect and update your sowing notes. We're trying a couple of new things this season. Germination has been incredible. However, because of how we treat our seedlings here in Leeds, I've needed to re-sow 2 flowers because the seeds are not as hardy as the packets have suggested. The resow has been fine. The seeds have germinated just as well, and they've coped with that slightly later germinating date. I know that I can't sow those 2 hardy annuals and manage them in our usual way with our early sowing, and that I need to wait until later. I've written this down in my Flower Farmer's Planner so that next year I don't do the same thing again. In fact, I've written it down twice. Once to say don't sow in this group because X, Y, and Z. And the second time to say sow in this group because X, Y, and Z. So that I don't think that I know better when I come to writing my seed sowing plan for 2027 and I don't make the same mistake again. The point of writing things down isn't to criticise ourselves. It's to make sure that we don't have to relearn the same lessons and waste the same money and time every year. The 5th habit is the one that I find the hardest because of the complexities of our world and our working environments. The habit is to make sure that you reply to customers promptly. There are 3 reasons to do this. Number 1, because a prompt reply makes a good impression. Number 2, a prompt reply closes a mental loop that means that you don't have to keep thinking about it. And number 3, it prevents inquiries from slipping through the net and loss of income. My personal biggest challenge is that I often spot an email come in the field, but I'm not able to reply because I'm too muddy or it's too cold or I'm halfway through a job. But I know the answer and mentally I've formulated my reply. And that leads to me thinking, oh no, I have replied to that. The job is done. My solution is that I make sure that if I do open an email in the field and I can't reply, I mark it in the inbox as unread again, so that it's harder for me to skim over it when I review the inbox later in the day. There are plenty of reasons why delays occur. We're human. This isn't about identifying the reasons and criticising ourselves for them. It's about looking for realistic solutions that will help us to run more professional and efficient flower farming businesses. So, those are a few of the small habits that quietly keep a flower farm working. None of them are glamorous and none of them appear in the photographs that we share online. But together they build something incredibly powerful. It's consistency. And consistency is what allows us to grow flower farms week after week after week for our customers without feeling completely overwhelmed. If you have a flower farmer's planner, use the habit tracker at the start of each month to support these small rhythms in your work. And if you don't yet have one, you can find the details in the show notes or on our website on the education page. I hope that after a busy Mother's Day weekend, this episode gives you permission to focus on the small things, worry less about the big things for a few days, and to repeat that week after week after week to keep your flower farm moving forwards next week and all the way through what's going to be a long and fabulous season. I'll be back next week with another episode of Mulch, encouraging you, as ever, to get on and grow. Rebecca. Thank you for listening to Mulch today. Don't forget to subscribe and to share the podcast with your flower farming friends. I'll be back next week, helping you to firm your flower farming roots with real and practical flower farming insights and advice. Rebecca.